If you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, I'd love it if you click that button. For this next DIY, I'm using a Dollar Tree mason jar, some paper, and this clip art copyright free printable. He's really cute, but he does have an American flag hanging off of him, so for my international viewers, I will leave a link down below in my description box to all of the vintage prints so that you can choose your own Santa. I'm starting off with a glue stick. It's just a Dollar Tree glue stick, but you have to be extremely generous and cover every last square inch of your surface. And I'm gluing this paper down. Now this paper is also going to be down in my description box. And I'm just taking and trimming the edge of the paper here, but it made me think about those of you that don't have the mason jars in your Dollar Tree, or my international viewers. I have done a mason craft before, a mason jar craft, and I just traced out the shape of the mason jar and used cardboard, and I recommend at least 2 layers so it doesn't bend. That's about the same thickness as the Dollar Tree sign. Maybe it's even a little thicker, but you can cover this mason jar with, old fabric or paper that's bigger and put little slits around the edge and then cover the edges that way. But the point is the mason jar crafts are perfect for duping it with cardboard because you can cover the edges. So I just took that music paper, which is from Hobby Lobby, burned the edges to make it look antiqued, cut my little Santa out there as close as I could to the edge. And I'm showing you here that if you miss some of the little fine edges there, it's super easy. You just lift it up and you can apply the glue stick and glue it down, and he sticks perfect. And now I'm taking some of the Dollar Tree burlap ribbon and I'm going to put that on the top for the lid. Now I'm using some of the Dollar Tree raffia that I found that's in like a deep burgundy red, and I'm tying it in a knot because I want to wrap this at the top of the mason jar, and it's just going to give it a little bit more for the hot glue to hang on to so that I can glue it nice and tight around the back side like this. And there you have it. That's what you get. So for me, it works better when I tie the raffia together. And now I'm using these Dollar Tree bows. I think they're so cute, these little buffalo check bows that I found on my last haul. And I'm going to go ahead and take the ticking striped ribbon. Now this is wire on the edge. I don't want the red border. I don't want the wire. I just want a completely different look. I'm just taking 2 pieces. I trimmed off the edge border there that was red, and I'm kind of gluing them crisscross over a little bit of raffia and then the buffalo check ribbon on the top. And then in the middle, I'm going to be gluing down the lace. Now I did the lace here because for some reason in real life it just looked too flat and plain, the little ribbon legs coming out, so I chose to put a little bit of ribbon there. And I have these 2 little mini pine cones off another craft that I used to embellish, and a little bit of greenery to cover the big blob of hot glue, but I think this is such a cute Christmas piece. For this next craft, you're going to need this Dollar Tree house sign, this Dollar Tree flannel tablecloth, and this burlap wine bag, also from the Dollar Tree. So I'm just going to start with removing this little wreath on the front. It's just this little small, crunchy, cheap wreath. And of course, that's not going to work if you want to lay it down flat or hang it up anywhere, so that comes off. The next thing we're going to do is make a template. I'm just using some butcher paper here. You can use any paper you want. And I'm just tracing the inside of the house. And of course, after that, we're going to go ahead and cut that out. And we're going to go ahead and cut out a piece of the flannel tablecloth as well. If you'd like to go ahead and use the front of this sign by removing the paper, you can soak it or spray it with a bit of water and leave it for a bit and then peel it off. You can. I just went ahead and used the back, but I did want those rooftop pieces, so I went ahead and took them off, and as you can see, they were easy enough to remove. I then took the staples out And then I'm going to go ahead and give it one coat of the white chalk paint. I'm also going to paint the little roof pieces white as well. Next, I'm going to use this ruler and put some faux shiplap lines on this house. I always think that's such a cute classic look. I like them a little uneven. I think that looks a little bit, I guess, more rustic or natural, and so I did that. And I'm also going to cut out the bag that I got, the wine bag. I'm just cutting it on either side. I'm leaving the biggest part of the sides and the front, and I'm taking some watered down burnt umber paint from Apple Barrel Paint, and I'm just going to stain the rooftop pieces there and then reattach them to my sign. Originally, I was going to use the entire piece of the flannel cloth to cover the entire front of the house, and I just felt like that was going to be a little too busy, so as you saw, I went with the shiplap lines. So I just cut the triangle off the top of that template, and I'm tracing it down onto the flannel tablecloth and cutting it out. Next, I'm going to use the Dollar Tree glue stick. I love glue sticks for applying simple things. It kind of guarantees a no bump and lump finish because it's a nice dry glue. It's the moisture that brings those lumps. So the drier glue you use, the better results you're going to end up with. And I just glue it on the top there. And then I'm going to wrap the sign, well, not the sign, I'm sorry, the little wine bag. It's perfect for this craft, by the way, and it's super good quality. If you come across those wine bags, make sure you pick one up because they're actually lined and they're super thick, and they would make great wine bags to use for actual wine bags, but they make a great gunny sack type look, perfect for this craft. I just cut one side off. It was the back side, and I wrap it around and glue it, and now I'm going to finish it off with a little bit of the Dollar Tree gingham print ribbon in red and white. And now I'm just going to start filling that little pocket up with some pine that I got from Amazon. The link is down below in my description box if you're interested in getting that pine. And I'm just going to fill it with some different kinds of pines. So I have like a different version there, just giving it different Christmas garnishes and a pine cone. And I decided to take one of the Dollar Tree bells, it's the gold bell, and just tap on some white paint. I don't want it to be perfect. I want it to look a little rustic, particularly at Christmas time. I love the rustic distress look. I think it's so pretty. And I'm taking some little holly leaves there. I'm gluing them down, and as you saw, I kind of wrinkled them up and glued them into place so they looked nice and flowing. And I glue the bell in the middle, and that's it. And I think this came out absolutely adorable. For this next craft, I start off with this autumn Dollar Tree sign and this really cute gift bag that I also found at the Dollar Tree. Now the paper came off of that sign really easy, as you can see, so I go ahead and use the side that already has the twine as a hanger. And I'm going to go ahead and cut out this image kind of unevenly to make it look, I just like that look. You can leave it even if you want. It's a little bit bigger than the sign, but I just feel like it looks better when the edges are a little uneven. Sometimes I wet it, but the gift bag was a little bit too thick, so I just went ahead and cut it, and it looked just fine. And I'm taking my chalk paint and just cutting the edges there to make it white. And I'm using Mod Podge to glue it down. And that's it. We're just going to do a nice thick coat of Mod Podge all over the board, and we're going to apply the image onto the front of the board. Now I'm keeping the image to the left-hand side. I'm doing that on purpose because I'm planning on putting some florals around the right-hand side. I actually saw this online. It's a well, it's kind of a Pinterest-inspired craft a little bit, I guess, because it's a different image, but I just thought it looked so pretty to have the florals on the right-hand side of the photo. I've never done that before, and I thought it would be fun to try. This is also Dollar Tree ribbon here in buffalo plaid in red and black. We're making a floral bow, and I'm using some pine that I got from Amazon. The link is down below in my description box. I bought some more of it. And I'm going to apply that on either side. We're going to put some of the Dollar Tree pine in the middle, and we're just going to do some embellishment onto the front of that bow and around the edge of this sign. One of my favorite things to do is use a red pen to cover up any foam showing if you're using foam berries. And I'm just slipping those in there. I'm also going to take some holly leaves. You'll see me tuck them on the side there just for a little bit more Christmassy embellishment. And I'm going to use the color Burnt Umber from Apple Barrel Paint to distress the edge of this sign. So I'm just going along lightly there with the brush, and you'll see me rub my finger over the edge. That's a great way to blur the distressing and give it a really soft look, which looks really, really good. I think this came up so, so cute. It would look so cute on a farmhouse hutch or on a mantle. For this next craft, I am using a Dollar Tree summer sign that I got during it was actually at the end of summer because there weren't that many people shopping, so there was a lot of summer signs left. I made one for apple cider, for those of you that watched my fall series, and now I thought it would be fun to make it for hot cocoa, so I just sand off the glitter. I go ahead and I'm going to give this one 2 coats of primer, Kills. It's the brand KILZ, Kills Primer. And something interesting happens here when I paint it. I start blow drying, and you'll see in a minute here. See how it's like bubbling up on the left side? And I go, what is that? What is that? So I stick my little skewer thing under there, and I realize I can just remove this whole thing. It made the paper so soggy that the whole thing just came off. Now I want to know if any of you guys have ever tried taking a wet towel and laying it on top of these signs for like 5 minutes or something, and how well that got the front label off. I tried blow drying it, that didn't work. If there's any tips out there, you know, that won't damage the cardboard underneath. I was always worried if I left a wet towel on it, the cardboard underneath would be all soggy. But if you guys have tried it and had good luck, if someone could write how long they did it for and, you know, that kind of thing, I would love to do it that way. So here I'm making a free printable. I made this, and it's a free printable down below in my description box. You just click on that link, it will take you to it. And then when you get to that, click on it and right click your mouse, and when it says save as, you're going to download that photo to your computer and then go from there. And you can take it and put it into a Word program and shrink it or make it bigger, whatever you want, and then print it up. That'll give you more, you know, I think that's what I do, and it kind of gives you a better idea about how big it's going to be on your paper when you print it up, as if you drag it into a Word program. And now I'm just taking I used carbon paper. You can just scribble pencil on the back of it, and I'm using permanent markers in brown and black and coloring it in. But here comes the fun part. I get some joint compound and I decide to do whipped cream on the top here, and it came out so pretty and real looking. I just spread it on, and now I'm tapping my little craft stick there up and down to get the peaks and the valleys so it looks nice and whippy and authentic, and a lot of fun here, you guys. I am sprinkling real cinnamon on it. It looks so real. If you do not live by a Dollar Tree that has Dollar Tree signs, and I have a lot of people from the UK I know that watch this, and other people around the world that aren't located by a Dollar Tree, please check out my video on how to make a fake farmhouse sign. That technique will work for you, and you can dupe anything once you have that technique down. So don't let that stop you. Please have fun and craft. And here it is, you guys, absolutely beautiful. For this craft, you're going to need a Dollar Tree wooden ornament, a wooden shim, or a paint stick, or one of the Dollar Tree rulers. That would work too. I'm giving mine a light sand because they tend to be a little rough if you use a shim. And I'm just applying it with some wood glue. Now, wood glue is still the best glue for raw wood, and I'm securing it with some hot glue on the side so I get an instant bond so I can continue with my craft. Super glue is the second choice for wood if you don't have wood glue. Don't bother with E6000, that doesn't work. And there's some other glues that work too, but I think the number, as far as number 1, number 2 ranking for raw wood is wood glue, and then a super glue type gel, like that kind of glue. And I'm just giving it one coat of the white primer by Kills. I'm using that up because it's going to dry out and I've got a lot of it. And I'm using some pewter gray from Apple Barrel Paint just to distress the outer edges. Now today we're going to be trying a different way to transfer font. I've seen this on some YouTube videos and I've been wanting to try it for years. I took some wax paper there, I cut it the same size, or as close as I could, to the computer paper, and I'm just taping it on with regular masking tape because that will be easy to remove. And then I'm going to go ahead and trim it on the outer edges here. So the reason I'm doing this is I usually use carbon paper or I scribble pencil on the back, but because I distressed with the pewter gray, it's going to be harder for me to see that. You can also just hold your paper up to the computer screen and trace right off the computer screen if you want, and do that, but I figured I was going to have to print mine up anyway, so let's see if I can kill 2 birds with 1 stone here and get it to transfer all in one go. So here I'm taking the wet ink and I'm rubbing it really hard with an old credit card, and there you go. You can see your font right there. So coming up next here is a nice little trick. You're going to see me color this in with a permanent Sharpie marker in a minute. I'm just cleaning up the edges. And I wanted to pass on a tip that I just recently discovered, but I wanted to test it out about 5 times before I was sure that it did work. I have been applying my Sharpie marker super light on the surface of my paint, where I'm literally just touching it feather light and allowing the ink to bleed into the paint rather than pressing down really hard and scribbling. Now it looks like I'm doing that here because this is sped up, but I'm not. I'm actually going really slow and letting the ink just kind of overflow onto the paint. Because a lot of times when you use markers on top of paint, you'll find after, I don't know, maybe 7 times of doing that, your ink suddenly isn't flowing very well out of the tip anymore. So chemicals, substances, whatever, they're coming off of the paint and they're clogging up the tip of your pen and obstructing the flow of ink. Now I have tried soaking my tips in alcohol, paint thinner, nail polish acetone, painting it on top of Mod Podge, and those didn't work for me. I think with Mod Podge I didn't wait long enough for it to dry. That might work if you wait a full 24 hours, but if you don't want to wait a long time and you just want to move on with your craft, remember to tap, tap, tap that ink on the paint surface. It will buy you more time. Next, we're going to be taking some Dollar Tree ribbon. I love this ribbon, you guys. I think it is such a perfect burlap ribbon for Farmhouse Rustic, vintage, whatever you're doing, like any kind of vintage thing you're doing. I think this is gorgeous. I was so excited when I found it. And I'm going to be showing you how to make a floral bow. That's what it's called. It's called a floral bow. It's been around for as long as florists have been around because it's been used in floral shops. Now, I see it a lot on YouTube, and they show you the loops. They show you how to slit it in the middle, but what they're missing right here is that nice little angled cut that you do in the center. Now, if you're going to embellish stuff in the center of your bow, like more ribbon or pine cones or flower, whatever you're going to put, if you're covering the center, it's not a big deal. You can stop with the slit. But if you're going to use the bow on its own, like for a wedding bouquet or on top of a gift, it really is important to have that graduated angle going down so that you have a nice center of the bow, because you're going to see the center and it looks better. The next step you see me doing here is you pull out the loops in opposite directions and you spin them a little bit. So you're just trying to make a complete circle, and of course, like with every craft, it's done by eye. But if you were to read like a 1950 manual on it, that's what they would tell you to do. So I'm going to go ahead and put ribbon on the center of mine, so it's not totally critical that I did that, but I just wanted to show you guys how to make an official floral bow and tell you the name of it is called a floral bow, and they're really neat, pretty, and fun to make. So I'm making a little smaller floral bow there, gluing it in the middle, and now I'm taking some Dollar Tree pine And to make it look a little more expensive, I'm cutting it down. You don't have to. You can also flock it or sponge some darker green on it. That makes it look more high-end too. But that's what I like, the little pop of color, but I don't like how scraggly it looks. So I usually want to do something to dress it up a little bit, but it's cheap and it works. And here's some spring florals from Walmart from this spring. When spring comes, you guys stock up on those gray-green, like army-colored green florals there. They are perfect for fall and Christmas, I think, and even spring. They're just like an all-year-round great piece of greenery to have. And this is what we finally have, you guys, and I absolutely love this. I think it came up so beautiful. So for this next craft, you're going to need the Dollar Tree peace sign. I chose this one because it has a center Christmas tree, and you can see me taking my pencil there and just making the opposite side match the other side because I have an idea for this. And I start out by painting the whole thing white. I want this to be really fresh, bright, and happy. So there's a lot of angles on these signs, just a warning ahead of time. I have tried spray painting them in the past, and you will use so much spray paint to get all of the angles that it ends up not being very cost effective. Your sign is not going to cost anywhere near $1 anymore if you do that. It's probably better just to take your time, put on your favorite movie, favorite music, whatever you like to do while you're crafting, and paint it and just have fun with it. So I was feeling very Yuletide-ish, almost like the fairies outside may have decorated it. So nothing dark, everything bright, happy, green, alive. I was thinking of that evergreen that hangs off like a floppy garland on mantles. In fact, I'm going to be buying some this year. I've always wanted it, where it kind of gracefully drapes off the mantle. I think that is so beautiful. And then I'm just going to stain the center tree. I don't want a really solid green heavy paint because I do want some dimension under this, because we're going to be covering it with some moss here that we cut down really, really small. Because when I put it on, I want it to be as flat as possible. So you're going to see me put some Mod Podge on top of this and then put the moss on top of it. Now you can use the green peas that come in a bag. They're hard. In America, we use it for a split pea soup. In the UK, it's for something like mushy peas. But those, when you pulse them in a blender to a very coarse grind like a crumb, they make a beautiful textured rustic covering, and I have used them in many, many crafts in my lifetime, and I love working with those. So if you don't have the moss, don't worry, you can still cover your Christmas tree with something. You can also just sponge on green paint or different colors of green paint to make it textured. I mean, just have fun with it. And you can even just paint it white if you want, but I wanted mine green. So after I cut it really, really small, because I want the moss to be as flat as possible, I just glue it on, and that's it. After I put the moss on, I realized that I need to balance out the green a little bit more to match the heaviness of the moss, because the moss is very textured. So I just go ahead and apply some more green paint. And I also realized it didn't look too much like the evergreen. I mean, I knew I couldn't get it exact, but I wanted it to definitely, so you can see it from a distance, and it just wasn't enough. And here are some decals from the Dollar Tree, and I just thought how pretty. The star fits perfect, and it's just that little bit of sparkle to make it Christmassy and add that magical touch like fairies did it. So it came out really, really pretty. I love this. For this craft, I'm using the Dollar Tree oversized ornament wall, little cheap signs they have there, and I'm going to take the metal piece off. Now, this is a craft you can definitely do using cardboard or wood. You can just print up a pattern of a large ornament or just an ornament and then enlarge it on a printer program and go from there. Check out my video on how to make a fake farmhouse wood sign, because you can dupe anything with that method. Now, another word of warning here. I guess you learn when you craft. I scored this because I've seen, somebody, I don't remember who it was now, said, oh, if you score it and you can break this really easy. I broke it and it almost ruined the piece. And so I recommend, if you're going to do this, to cut all the way through. Don't break it, because it takes off chunks of the cardboard underneath. You can see what I'm doing here. I want to turn this ornament into a palette type sign, and I just put 2 painter sticks on the back, slap some white paint on it, and voila, we have a very rustic farmhouse Christmas decor piece now to work with. And I'm using pewter gray and apple barrel paint here just to do some dry brushing, and then I'm going to edge it with a bit of black to make it look nice and old and weathered. So just taking some of the super glue here, I'm going to glue on one of those metal Dollar Tree signs, and I chose the word peace and used a little bit of hot glue to hold it in place. I do end up moving it. It's a little bit of an angle there. I slide it down, so it doesn't, you can see it now. I fixed it. And I'm going to go ahead and glue the metal piece that I took off the top back onto the top. Now, for my home decor, I would have stopped right here and maybe tied some of those rusty bells on the top, or some distressed little round baubles, some Christmas baubles, little ornaments, and called it a day, because my decor is rustic. But this is a gift for someone, and their home is a little more traditional Christmas decor, so I'm going to go ahead and add a bow. This is the buffalo check red and white ribbon from Dollar Tree, which I never find, and got really lucky this year and found it. And I also found this little, I love this, it comes in red and black polka dotted ribbon that you can also get at the Dollar Tree. It's burlap. It just looks perfect for farmhouse or Christmas even. I just love this look. And I got some little white pom-poms from the Dollar Tree, and I just thought that would be so cute. Again, I was looking at her decor in her home and trying to match the things that she already has up, so this goes really, really well for her. I also used a little bit of that burlap from the banner you can get in the birthday aisle there. It's available all year round in my Dollar Tree, just for a little bit of a rustic. It's right there, you can see it, for a little extra touch there. And I'm tacking the ribbons down to keep them away from the words so they don't cover the words. I always tack them so they look like they're flowing with waves, but I love this, and so does she, and it was a lot of fun to make. I hope you guys get to try it.